begin this evening and my comments as I always do when I'm given the opportunity to speak, and that is to thank Gordon Jumper for this wonderful opportunity. I say thank you to Gordon, but it's truly Jean that I can never say no to. I was asked to be the New Generations Chair. I was a little bit worried about my introduction because he gave so many details. I don't know if I have a lot left to say, but I'll try to fill in the pieces. I am very, very honored to say tonight that I am a second-generation Rotarian. And when I was asked about my bio and what should be said about me, I said one thing I really wanted to be noted right off the bat was the fact that I am Marvin Littleton's daughter. I'm very, very proud of that. And actually, I joined Rotary with the intent to please my father, and look where that got me. Being the middle daughter, and you know middle children, they do in fact want to please. And so I hope, Daddy, that all that I'm doing for Rotary is pleasing to you. I also wanted just to ask, so that I know a little bit about my audience, and to get you to move just a slight amount, not to interrupt ticket sales. I won't do that, I promise. Are there any other second-generation Rotarians in the room? And if there are, would you please stand? Anybody else that's second-generation Rotarian? There you go. Good job. I'm making a point as I begin my comments to talk about family, because that is truly the theme of my comments tonight. If I were to give a title to my program, it would be The Future of Rotary, Growing the Family. As you've already been told tonight, and was part of my prepared comments, we already know now that New Generations is the Fifth Avenue of service. And I think that those of you that have been in Rotary a while know that it takes some time for Rotary to make a change. But we did in 2010, and we made a good change when we added New Generations as the Fifth Avenue of service. I can't tell you the kind of crazy questions people have asked me about New Generations, what it is. They've given it different names, but New Generations is in fact an opportunity to bring together and highlight several programs that have been in Rotary for a long time. And we've already mentioned tonight New Generations, and tonight I want to talk about, Youth Exchange, and tonight I want to talk about that just a little bit. Also RYLA, Rotary Youth Leadership, and I know that if you've spent any time with Lori Palmer, you know a little bit about RYLA, because she's kind of a RYLA fanatic. We also have Rotaract and Interact. And I am very proud to be in the same room with folks from the East Alton Club and the Roxana Club that have started Interact Club. So you need to give yourselves a round of applause for your two new clubs. Those clubs were given their banners by District Governor Gordon on the stage at Illinois College, and that was a great moment, and I hope you got to see some of those pictures. Tonight I'd like to just share some important parts of these programs, but also I want to tie that to something that I experienced when I became a district leader, which was kind of a big shock to me. I was asked to think about my Rotary moment and to be able to get up and speak about my Rotary moment. Have you all had that time in your life when you've had your Rotary moment, when you realize how much Rotary means to you, or what Rotary really means in the whole scheme of the world? Well, I've had several of those moments, and quite a few of them relate to the programs that I just outlined. So I'd like to share a little bit. I could probably talk from now till way past the band is done playing about Youth Exchange. As you've already heard, my husband and I have opened our home and extended our family to 8 youngsters from all around the world. Yesterday, we had a birthday party because today is Mary Alamas's birthday. And I had the pleasure of sharing her as a daughter with Jean and Gordon. So Mary had her birthday yesterday. The deal is she's in Brazil, but Facebook is a great thing. So we took pictures and we had a cake and we sent everything over to Mary. So Mary was our first daughter. We've had daughters and a son from Sweden, from all over the world. What that's done for our family is just almost impossible to talk about in depth tonight because I really don't have that much time. I think there's someone else speaking, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But what it's done is it's provided a sibling to our daughter. We were unable to have more children. So our daughter, Sarah, now has a brother and sisters all over the world. It filled our empty nest because we had our first daughter when our daughter went away to college. That was our sweet Mary. The other thing that it's done for us is it's really given us the big picture that through Rotary Youth Exchange, we are making the world a smaller place and a more peaceful place. Currently, Jacksonville is hosting a crazy child, our Miss Karen from Mexico, she will tell you. And she gave her program at Rotary last Friday. And she was just kind of crazy and silly and funny and had all the Rotarians in the room laughing. But at one moment in her presentation, she had pictures. She had a picture of herself and my daughter and Mariella, because Mariella came home for Courtney's wedding, right? Courtney's wedding. And so Mary, our first daughter, and Karen, our current daughter, got to meet. And so in her comments, very, very just typical Karen, she said, "Oh, and this is my new sister, Mariella. Yeah, she's from Brazil, but we are sisters." That was said to be funny, and it got a little chuckle here tonight, but it really is what Youth Exchange is about. Rotary has the mission of developing world peace. And you know our theme, July 1, by our president, our international president, is peace through service. And when you think about the scope of Rotary Youth Exchange and that they're connecting youngsters all over the world and families are being developed, it truly is, by extending the family, it truly is the future of Rotary. The other thing I want to talk about tonight is RYLA. And I too, Lori, am a RYLA junkie. I was asked to speak at RYLA a year ago when I was named the New Generations Chair, and I will freely admit I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing because Gordon didn't tell me. But we found out that was because nobody knew what New Generations was supposed to be. A year later, I know a whole lot more, I'm proud to say. So I went to RYLA, I spoke for a few minutes. My intent was to get some kiddos excited about Youth Exchange, and that's what I talked about. But there was such a amazing energy and feeling in the room that I said to Ron Riggins, I want to come back. And so just a few weeks ago, the end of March through the very first day of April Fool's Day, and by that Sunday morning, there was no fooling around. We were pretty tired, weren't we, Lori? We had created a new family, a family of youngsters from high schools all over our district. Those youngsters are able to go back and perhaps, in some instances, start an Interact Club. But what they did that weekend was they created their own family. They lived together, worked together, laughed together. The boys on one side, the girls on the other side, though, I will tell you that. But RYLA was a wonderful opportunity for the district to build leadership. And so at the end of my comments, I'm going to encourage you, if you haven't, to send youngsters to RYLA. Because it is truly, by building that family experience with those youngsters for the weekend, it's well worth every penny that a club would put forward to have a youngster go to RYLA. So that's a way that a family was built in that weekend setting. Now I know that I'm sitting here with 3 clubs, and 2 clubs have already started an Interact. And I'm believing there's one club here that maybe needs some help and some support and some guidance for Interact. And I need to let you know that I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and work with you. In addition, we have Brian Mulhall, and Brian is from, I'm always careful to say his name, Suzanne, because I said it wrong for about 3 months. I was calling him Mulhall, and he's Mulhall. He belongs to the Edwardsville Club, and he is our new Interact Rotaract chair. And so he stands willing, side by side with me, to help you start an Interact Club. An Interact Club in a high school, and I know that I'm in the same room with people that have worked side by side with kiddos to start one and know quite a bit more about it than I do. But an Interact Club within a high school is also a little family. An Interact Club can accept all kinds of kiddos. You don't have to be the big athlete. You don't have to be the brain like Timmy Coons was when he was at Roxana High. You don't have to have some big special spot, because Interact can be that club where everybody's welcome and everybody fits. And they have the same theme and philosophy of Rotary of service. And right now, in our time, youngsters that had that opportunity to do community service, it's such a wonderful blessing to them and to their communities that they can do that. So there's a way that a family can be built with an Interact Club and then ensure the future of Rotary. I'm really excited to tell you about Rotaract. Several years ago, Keith Toby, from at that time had been, I think, a member of the East Dalton Club, made friends with Marvin Littleton. And when I lived down here, I was always known as Red's daughter. Everywhere I went, I was Red's daughter. Well, you know, that's a good thing. I've claimed that for more years than I'll say. And so when I joined the Jacksonville Club, I was so proud to bring my daddy to club. And I thought, I am going to be able to introduce him to other people. That for the first time, I'm going to know people. We walked into the room, and Keith Toby had moved from East Dalton to Jacksonville. And the first person that we saw in the room was Keith Toby. And he said, well, hi, Red, how you doing? So it spoiled my whole business of going somewhere where Daddy didn't know anybody. I'm telling you that little story for a minute because what's happened, Keith's gone home to heaven. And I've gotten the privilege to know his son, David. And David belongs to the Goshen Club. And he has a vision. And that is to have a Rotaract Club at all places, my alma mater, Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville. So very soon you're going to get an email, or we're not sure yet. It may be an email, it may be in the four-way. I'm talking to Larry Thompson about that, but you get to hear it first tonight. That we're going to ask all Rotarians in District 6460, if you have a son, daughter, granddaughter, niece, nephew, family, friend, neighbor that goes to SIUE, we're going to ask for those names because we're going to get a Rotaract Club at Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville. That's his vision and it's my vision. So here you have two second-generation Rotarians extending the family, creating a new little family in that big old tough university, Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville. So I hope you'll join Dave and I as we carry on our father's legacies trying to promote Rotary, extending the family by establishing a Rotaract Club. So now you'll know something that nobody else in District 6460 has heard. That's Youth Exchange, and that's RILA, that's Interact, and that's Rotaract. I probably could go on and much more about Youth Exchange, but I'm not going to. Tonight we have three clubs assembled. There's so much potential gathered here. This group of Rotarians can choose to send 3 students out for Youth Exchange. And I know that my friend Nancy Waters and Barb Mullaney will stand ready to help you with that. I'd be glad to talk your ear off about it at any point this evening. Unless you want to dance. I can't talk to you while you're dancing. It might be a little distracting. A vision I've had for this group, because I did join you last year, a vision that I've had for this group is for a collaboration. If we know anything about Rotarians, we know that they like to work well together. And as Gordon came and talked to our table a minute ago, isn't it great that these 3 clubs get along so well, that they like to hang out together and spend an evening together? The vision that I've had for these 3 clubs is for you to share a Youth Exchange student. The cost has gotten it's gone up a little bit. There's costs related to that. My belief is that the 3 clubs could make application and share a student and work through the schools for that student to stay in one district. I've not found anybody to tell me that we're breaking a rule or there's reason not to do that. Jacksonville Club has been very successful with having Youth Exchange, and we typically like them to stay with 3 families. So it could very well be that your new son or your new daughter could live one family in East Dalton, one family in Bethalto, and one family in Wood River. It's a thought. I know that there are people looking around to assign new positions. We had a little talk right during the social. My friend Ms. Opp, who's going to be president-elect, she's got her eyeballs out looking for people in her club to take new responsibilities. So that might be something that the Bethalto Club wants to take the lead on. The other opportunity is for there to be a third Interact Club in this area. And again, I mentioned that earlier, I won't beat that dead horse. What we're doing with New Generations is ensuring the future of Rotary. When you have youngsters that go to RILA, and I hope that we'll have plenty of students from this area go to RILA next year. It will be at Lake Williamson. We'll be in the springtime again. And I believe Lori and I will both be there because we're pretty hooked. When you send a student to RILA, you have build that opportunity for leadership. And you know the other thing that you do? You ensure at least for the next year you've got a couple club programs, because the kids will come back and talk. And they will talk to you about what they learned at RILA and what they did there. And so sending a student to RILA is an opportunity for you as well. Generally, clubs send 2, although some other clubs have sent more than that. So that's an opportunity for each of the clubs here. And then again, I've already talked about the Rotaract aspect here at Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville. This thing moves. Did you know? I realized that. I leaned on that a little bit. So by participating in New Generations, you're developing growth within your club, you're developing growth within Rotary, and you're expanding the family. And I thank you for your kind attention.